Hello, my name is Rebecca Clark, and I am the Local Authority Research Operations Officer for Cumberland and Westmoreland and Furness Councils in Cumbria. My role is funded by the National Institute for Health and Care Research, and this is part of a pilot project to help embed a research culture and infrastructure within the local authority settings. Today, I'm going to share with you Cumberland Council's journey for the HDRC. It is known that Cumbria does not have a strong history of taking part in or leading on research projects, unlike many other areas in the UK. In Cumbria, we have a relatively young university, and our rural and coastal geography presents many challenges to both opportunities, but also the economy, services, communities, and communities for tackling health and social inequalities. In April of this year, Cumbria became two unitary authorities, Cumberland and Westmoreland and Furness. And we decided to apply for the Health Determinants Research Collaboration bid for Cumberland. This was because Cumberland was in a better and stronger position in terms of senior leadership and support. We believe that Cumberland is the right local authority to have the HDRC, because it puts improving health and well-being at the heart of everything we do, and this is central to the council plan. This is along with improving relations with communities, and we are committed to learning from our mistakes and driving change for the better. Cumberland's process for the HDRC has been long, and we are a brand new council, and this both presents opportunity to embed a whole new infrastructure and culture focusing on research and evidence-based practice right from the inception. We don't need to break down years of established council culture, but it can also be seen as a weakness, a risk in terms of how can we show that we are going to make the HDRC a success? How can we show that we are committed to the HDRC when we are still setting up other areas of the council? Luckily, we are able to show that we have senior leadership buy-in right from the top, and that the research agenda has become one of the priorities in Cumberland. Cumberland's aspirations for the HDRC is overall that our vision is for the HDRC to shape Cumberland Council into a modern, empowering council underpinned by research and evidence-based practice. We want to become a centre of excellence for sustainable local authority and community-led health determinants research and experts in the health inequalities of coastal, rural and dispersed communities. Our overarching aim is to ultimately drive culture change through embedding research and evidence-based practice at the heart of everything we do. We want this to inform future policies to improve health and well-being of our residents, and we will champion transdisciplinary approaches to health determinants research, bringing together officers from across council structures, members of our communities, councillors and academics from a range of disciplines to tackle real-world problems in Cumberland. From my own personal reflection, I think our application process, which is still ongoing, is divided into 4 stages. And our first one is absolutely, we had internal discussions with senior leadership. This laid down the foundations of our application, understanding whether we have the capacity to apply for the HDRC, and working with senior leadership, working with getting senior leadership buy-in within the council, including letters of support from the Chief Executive Officer and also the directors, but also discussing where we would place the HDRC. Because we intend to make Cumberland HDRC a success, and although this is a public health bid, we decided to have our HDRC sit within the Directorate for Strategy, Policy and Performance. This will ensure the HDRC is accessible to the whole council and not owned by just one directorate. However, we have decided to have oversight of the HDRC by our Director for Public Health, who will ultimately become our HDRC Director, again, if we're successful. Our second stage in the process was setting up, obviously, a working group, which included and involved our partners and collaborators. I think this was a fundamental step in our HDRC process, and we all know that HDRC is about collaboration. We decided to work with Cumbria University in their role as primary academic partner to support us and our HDRC team for research knowledge exchange, training and upskilling of our council workforce, and our secondary partner, the University of Central Lancashire, to build a programme for community co-research and to help develop a training programme for our team of community co-researchers. Our working group obviously had academic representatives from both partners, as well as from other partner organisations such as Cumbria Council for Voluntary Service and Health Watch Cumbria, to ensure the HDRC would be a Cumberland-wide initiative. This step in the process also involved understanding and working with the wider research network that is available to Cumberland and getting letters of support from these organisations. Our third stage in our process was obviously the formalisation of Cumberland's HDRC strategy, which resulted in the research proposal or business plan, which was submitted as stage 2 of our application. This step in the process brought together all partners and collaborators in thinking, how can we realistically make the HDRC work and integrate within Cumberland and the current networks? This stage in the process also allowed us to formalise our thinking with regards to health inequalities and research priorities in Cumberland and how the HDRC will help to address these. Our fourth and final stage is preparing for the HDRC interview, and this is the final hurdle. We have ultimately arranged one-to-one meetings with our interview attendees to ensure that they all individually understand the interview process and the structure, and discussed which individual would be best to answer certain questions. We have then had meetings every other week as a full team to discuss potential questions that could be asked in the interview, and have had sessions with colleagues in the NIHR and other organisations to help prepare the team in answering the questions. We have also got a final mock interview planned as final preparation before the actual interview takes place. In my role as the Research Operations Officer, I am supposed to build and embed a research culture and infrastructure, and the HDRC has been part of my work portfolio this year. This has been a huge piece of work over the duration of 6 months that I have helped to lead and project manage for Cumberland Council. I was able to give capacity to chair our working group and lead on writing the bid and liaise with our partners and local organisations to ensure that they had input. I also regularly reported and still report to the Director of Public Health and our other senior leaders in the council on the progress of our application. Furthermore, as my role is funded by the North East North Cumbria Local Clinical Research Network, I was able to tap into many research networks that has since given Cumberland's HDRC support over the entire process. And I believe that this step has ultimately been incredibly invaluable. So what does Cumberland's future in research look like? Well, as I've mentioned, it's been 6 months worth of work to get Cumberland's HDRC application to the standard that it is at today. This has involved understanding the role of the HDRC within Cumberland, how the HDRC will benefit our communities and improve evidence-based practice, and having a real commitment from the whole council to drive change. We believe that going through this process with our academic partners and other partner organisations has ultimately put us in a better position and have a stronger relationship with our partners and collaborators. And we have a robust plan that we could use should we not be, unfortunately, successful in receiving the funding for HDRC. This has given us the drive to create a culture change within Cumberland. And I believe that we're going to become one of the stronger councils for research and health determinants research in the future. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact me via my emails from the first slide. Thank you.